Oh, baby. Pom, 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 pom.
Hey, that's I'm sorry.
Like you can be feeling kind of like, okay. Then the pom poms come on and say, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord, I can make it another second or two. So welcome to Soulful. Okay.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
Welcome to Soulful, everybody. We're so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for joining. We adore you and we appreciate this time every week to connect with you. Yes, we do. So my name is Toya, if you don't know.
Go ahead.
And I'm Janet.
And then I'm Toya as well. And we have a special guest, Miss Sharica.
Hey guys. Hello. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, woo.
And I feel like working on the intro.
Go to court, girl. Go on the court. Detroit in the house.
Yes, we do.
What up, now?
Yes. Oh, you might get a pass. You said what up, though. Okay, you get a pass. For real. Thank you.
Oh, shoot. That's what's up. So, guys, you know how we do this. First things first, what are you working on? We're virtual assistants, so we're always working up into the show. So Toya, what you been up to, sis? What you working on?
Oh, let's see. Working on some marketing for a client, working on my own marketing, and doing some interviews with the beauty industry.
Fantastic. Janet?
Ooh, where do I start my list? Some social media posting for myself and a client, helping my church to put on a Christmas virtual gala, so booking some artists. And then I just got another discovery call inquiry for a potential client. So I'm working.
Boom. That's exciting. Yo, and for me, I was working on a media sheet for a client, and I was on the phone with the state of Florida to check on some of these LLCs to see if they were available for another client. And I love doing that. I love helping businesses get set up. So that was fun. And what about you, dear Sharica? What you been working on, sis?
I need to get on y'all level. Sure. I mean, y'all talking to everybody. Well, Sharica, let me see. I work in nonprofit. So I have my real life, I guess. So me working on trying to get all our board members and volunteers back on path. I have recently, which it just kind of came up, which is blessings. I got hired from like a couple organizations to do their social media campaign with their videos and editing and stuff like that. I know it was a blessing. So shout out to the National Civil Rights Museum and 100 Black Men for entrusting me with your brand. And trying to get, mama didn't tell me it's try to keep on pushing through and just give life to people. So
fantastic.
But I need to be a virtual assistant.
So the work that you're doing with the museum, is that virtual or will you be on location?
Well, I go to the museum and basically run their content. So they have been doing online webinars and book talks. And so I run the back end of it using platforms. I kind of schedule and produce the webinar. And so I go there with 100 Black Men. Basically, I shot 20 videos with them and we did that all virtual. And then so now the campaign is running on their Facebook and IG. So that's what I'm doing. So right now, mostly virtual, but since the Civil Rights Museum is like right there, I don't mind going to the client and being and touching and feeling them. I think they get a different experience when you're actually there. And so that's what I'm doing right now.
Ooh, that sounds fun and exciting, and I want to learn more. I do. Yes.
I need to learn from y'all. She doing galas. Y'all talking to the state of Florida. Okay, get on my level.
Girl, we all where we need to be. How about that? Yes.
Amen.
So, excited. I'm let Toya or Janet. We're gonna do the bio, or what are we doing next?
Yes, it's Miss Janet's up now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Miss Jenna, you're nasty.
Mama didn't tell me that too. Mama didn't tell me this is a fun to active weekly show for those still trying to figure out how to navigate life. Hosted by former radio personality for 92Q, Sharica. In 2016, Sharica began video blogging her journey with family and friends. Starting in 2018, she was ready to share it with the rest of the world. Sharica, mother of an amazing 4-year-old boy named Austin, and a wife to a lovely husband who serves as her partner in crime. Wonder what crimes they commit. Anyway, another show. She is joined weekly by her co-host, DJ Deontrai Matthews, the lovely husband, and Ms. Laini Brown. For more information, we'll give you that towards the end of the show. But right now, stay tuned to our fabulous conversation.
Well, that sounded nice.
Awesome.
Who is that?
Exactly. Janet.
I mean, yeah, that's right.
That was awesome. All right, Toya. Get us started, Toya.
All right, y'all. So this is what we're going to talk about today. Mama didn't tell us that. So all of us here actually are mothers today. So we definitely, this is going to ring home for us. There are some things that Mama did not tell us, and we ended up having to learn it the hard way. So that is what Miss Sharica is going to bring home today. And let's just talk about that.
Awesome. All right, Sharica, it's all you, sis.
Well, first, again, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to come on and be in your space and in your presence. It's also a blessing when everyone can be in the same space doing the same thing and not worrying about what each and other are doing. It seems like sometime in our community that crab and barrel mentality happens. And so I'm glad that I'm in a space that doesn't even believe in that. So thank you. So Mama didn't tell me this, basically like Janet, if you nasty, has said that sorry. No, Mama didn't tell me this. I had my son and I moved away. When I went off to college, I never went back to Detroit. And so I have been away from my family since I went off to college. And so when I got married, we have moved 5 times since we have been together. And so because of that, that support system that you may have is not there. Now, my mom has always been there for me. She'll try to come up here when she can. I talk to her every day, twice a day. If she doesn't answer my phone after the 5th time I talk to her, I got an attitude. So, it's like that. However, when I had my son, I realized that I get mad. Like, what you doing? Like, you just talked to me 10 minutes ago. And I might have a little friend join me in just a second. But what I was saying is, he decided to come on through. This is real life right here. Shut the door. Mama didn't tell me that kids they don't care what you're doing. They don't care. He don't care.
They don't care. And I feel like when they're little like that, I don't get as bothered. I mean, he's a young man, a little young man. What you think about that?
You real sweet.
Hey,
you real sweet. But what I was saying is that when I had him, it was just me and my husband in a city by ourselves. And so those foundations or those little nuggets that you can get from your family, I didn't get that. And so I started blogging and it became to like, what the hell? My mama didn't tell me XYZ. And so I'll come to find out that I wasn't by myself. And so really when I started thinking and reflecting on the things that I wish I would have known, I started thinking of what does my history look like, and when I look at the women that were in my family, very strong women, independent, got jobs, raising kids, but they're raising kids by themselves. They are not in healthy relationships. And so that was my norm, right? And when it was my norm, when I got older and I'm as a woman, I thought that's the norm, how it should be. And so my mom, amazing mother, raised 3 kids. You know, probably the oldest is probably the best one, but you know, I can say for myself. But she raised 3 amazing kids. But I saw my mom struggle. Now, just to be truly transparent, because that's what I'm about. My dad and my mom, that's the only man I've seen my mom with. She may have had a boo. I think she was dating my basketball coach. I don't know for sure. He did come by the house one day, but he didn't speak to me. He went to the bed. So I tell my mama all the time. I ask her all the time, what was Coach Joe at the house for? Because he didn't come talk to me. He talked to you in the back.
Where's your mama? She got to come on the show because you out here telling business.
My mama, she will. Yeah. Anyway, so but I've only seen my mom with him. Now my dad, I've seen 2 sides of my dad. Which one side, he used to be a musician and Atlantic Star, so he lived that rock star life at one time, and I've seen the potential in him. And then drugs became part of his lifestyle, and so but my mom stuck through that with him, and even they're not together today. He's gone off and done his own thing, but you know, that's what I've known or whatever. But with that, I found myself protecting my mother, and so that's where it came back to me and my history of like, I have to be strong. I have to be the protector. I don't care nobody else. It's just me and mine. And if you outside of that realm, if you don't do this, I don't care. Because like I said about full transparency, I've never been in a fight before, but the only person I fought was my daddy, and physically fought. And I was trying to protect my mother, my brother, and my sister. And so when you start thinking about that, those are traumas that one may not even acknowledge as an adult, especially when I'm coming from this lifestyle and this life. I just think sometimes having bad relationships, having bad luck is the way of life, right? And it's not. So I can say that this is where, and I'm talking about this because I want to give the framework of who I am today and why I still struggle with the things that my mom didn't tell me, and the things I think I should know, what the things I do know, and that struggle of like not disrespecting the strong women and the things they went through and matching them with, I don't want that life. And also marrying those two to know that you come from a strong history because of XYZ, but you've learned things that they didn't even learn their damn self. So I want to ask you guys, I mean, what kind of foundations do you all have? And what, before we move forward, but what kind of foundations do you all have that's made you the woman you are today? So that's the question.
Well, you want to go first, Ms. Shannon?
I know for me, my foundation is a little bit rocky, and I can speak because I come from a Caribbean background. So that's the first thing. My mother, may God rest her soul, was Jamaican, and my father was Vincentian Trinidadian. So, and in normal culture, those are 2 hot-blooded people that should never mix. However, he's a bumper and he ran, and that's why he collided. But anyway, that's another story for another time. But I think for things in regards to what my mother didn't teach me, I think coming from the Caribbean background that she came from, she couldn't teach me what she didn't know.
Right.
And so my mother be loyal to working, took care of her family, but their form of taking care of your family is putting food in front of you and clothes on your back. They're taking care of family that I think I missed out on is the emotional factor. So that's where that foundation came from. So, and because my mother and father were argumentative people, I ran away from that when I became an adult. So I didn't understand I'm sorry, Bixby, be quiet. So when I got married, and my husband is from the Caribbean and I'm Jamaican, and he started with the arguing, I just picked up my daughter and left. Deuces out. That's not the nice words I said. I said them in my language, but well, you know, in our patois, but I didn't want to stay because of what I saw.
What you said, Miss Janet? What you had to say, Miss Janet?
Telling them I did something right here. However, I will say to you this, that when I grew up and found my relationship with Christ and learned the true word of wife and submissiveness, I became a better woman for me, for my daughter, and for him. And we are back together. So that's where my foundation came from.
And you know, it's funny that you say emotions, and not having, you wanted that emotions. My mom, I've never seen her cry. She will go,
I only cry when my grandmother died. That was the only time.
And you know, my mom at funerals, she will go to the restroom to cry and not cry in front of people. And that has been with my auntie. I've never seen them cry in person, and nor have I seen my mom cry. They will literally go to the restroom in the middle of a funeral and cry. And so when you see stuff like this, you think to yourself, you can't be weak. You got to be strong. You know, that's what you're supposed to be because your mama did that. And that's not reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not it. So
I'm a boo basket. I boo boo.
I cried earlier today because my son would not sit down to write his name. I just like,
go on and get the boxes of Kleenex and have them ready for me because I'm a cry. I'm a cry and I'm a cuss. Well, I don't cuss as much, but I still cuss. Lord, I'm working on that. If you see me crying and cussing, that is the time for you to go.
Oh, man. I believe you too. I do. I really do.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I believe you too. Now, what else? I mean, Toya and look, T and T. I don't know, L and T. I don't know which way to go. Well,
go on, Latoya. Go on, Latoya.
All right. Well, for me, my dynamics, I grew up in foster care. So I've always had a little issue with that family life. I mean, because my family was broken. So one of the things I discovered early on in foster care, like, you know, you are stuck into someone else's family. For one, it's very traumatic. So if you're snatched from your own dynamic of home, what you thought was what it was supposed to be for home, and then you're thrown into someone else's household, and you have to adapt to now being their family, and you're like, if you know me, I'm like, but you're not my family, and no, I'm not calling you mama, and y'all aren't my brothers and sisters, and I don't want to pretend like we family, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I just had that real, I wanted to disassociate myself with that and stay to myself, you know, just,
yeah.
I just want to be Toya. I don't want to be foster child of Toya. I don't want to be anything like that. Just, I'm Toya. And so I took that with me because my mama was a loner type, and my daddy's a go by your own beat loner type person. So it ended up being that part of me. So growing up, I wouldn't ask for help or nothing. I'd go figure it out myself, or I'd go, you know, but asking for help is okay. Later on is what I learned. It's okay to say, I don't have it. I don't got it. I can't do this. Can I get some help? It's okay to show that vulnerability. But that took a long time coming.
I have to ask you though, do you feel emotionally detached? Because you say you were in foster care, and so now I know you have a child, right?
I do.
Do you find yourself being sometimes emotionally detached? And let me speak for myself. I think because I am not able to figure out certain things, I remove myself emotionally and mentally from it. So I can use, my son. And I'm working on this. My son has autism. So sometimes I don't know how to give him what he needs. And so once I put him in a space where he's comfortable, I remove myself mentally from that space. And sometimes that is not the best thing to do because I need to be alert at all times, but I will remove myself just for a minute so I can collect myself together. Now, that could be a coping mechanism for myself, or it can be just one of those things that I have to take a breather or I'm going to be nervous. And I'm okay with saying that. And so I asked you, like, do you have those moments of being detached because you haven't had that full, strong attachment throughout your life?
I do think I would say yes. The dynamics of me and my son's relationship, it shows because there are times where we haven't been as close as I would have liked us to. And I don't know, that might just be a clash in personalities. He get it honestly from me. So if I'm being antisocial and he's being antisocial, and we ain't gonna be social with each other. So it kind of does show in our relationship, but we're working on it.
Well, thank you for your transparency, because that's brave for you to say that. I mean, real, like, some people want to go ahead and just have it under the cover. My mom, like, whatever happened in this household don't go beyond this household. And she learned very quickly that I'm very vocal. And so if I got something to say, I'm going to say it, kind of thing. So what about you, Toya? I mean, you got a whole village over there, girl.
What you talking about? I got a whole village. Hey, Melissa, thanks for joining us, sis. So good to see you. Yeah, detached. Yeah, tell us more about that. We would love to hear, where you're coming from as well. Your family background. So for me, I must admit, I've got a wonderful mother, wonderful father, and they've been together forever, ever. Yes, forever. Yeah, and so so I grew up and everybody on the outside, oh, this is great, and they were, and they are. I'm so grateful for my parents. But so the issue for me is that is that my? I'm not sure. Okay. So the issue for me is that I just felt like my mother was a little too submissive for my taste. I'm the oldest child, and so I'm definitely like, in charge. If I want something done, it's me. I'm gonna take care of it, that type of thing. And so just to see my mom sometimes, like, why does daddy not got to wash dishes? You know what I'm saying? You work just like he do. You know what I'm saying? Why my brother ain't got the, I didn't understand, like, why the women, we're doing all these things. But what's interesting, as she's gotten older, she's not as submissive as she was. But that was the thing.
All my life, girl.
Yeah. So I felt like that's the thing that I didn't see. I had to try to figure out for myself. Like, I'm married, but I can't do it like that because that just don't fit my personality.
Yeah. And when you said that that's your mom was submissive and that you have to evaluate what that is. And that's just side note, my husband comes from, he has 4 brothers and sisters. His dad is old school, Birmingham, 80 years old. And his mom didn't work. Her job was to raise the kids, go to church. She didn't know how to drive. And so that is what he knows as his foundation. Right. And so when he married me, a girl from Detroit who doesn't give a damn, it was a culture shock for him. And so I don't know, by him being with me, it was part of excitement. He thought I would calm down. That ain't changed, boo. But, with knowing all that about each of us, about, finding out what our foundation is, those mistakes come. Even, like Toya, you said your parents have a wonderful relationship, and that is definitely a blessing. And I can say, regardless of all of us and what scenario we've been in, there's been flowers growing.
That's right. That's right.
Flowers grown somewhere in that midst. So, I am not ashamed to say my history, and I'm glad you ladies are not either. But I did see some things that now that my mama made a mistake on. And one is, you don't have to stay there. I know you wanted your kids to raise up be raised in a 2-parent household. You don't have to be there, because if it's mentally and physically and emotionally draining for everyone there, where is the healthy relationship? Right?
That's why I left. That's why I went, left. Yeah, that's why I left, because my mother stayed with my father. I don't know why they stayed with each other, but anyway, but that's what I saw. I saw two people who were miserable every day, and I was the baby. My father has children on the outside. My mother has one daughter on the outside. So I was the baby, and I'm the youngest of everybody. So everybody was gone. So I was the one that was pulling ear to left. Come here. Me want to tell you something for go tell your father. No, you come here. Let me tell you something for go tell your black mother. And so I was the tug of war. And I used to be like, I don't want that life. When first I didn't want to get married, to be honest. I was going to be a live-in lover for the rest. I didn't care about the white picket fence. Two things. Right. I didn't want to get married, and I didn't want to be no nurse. One of the two things my mother, y'all gonna be a nurse because y'all have a big job, live in America. I didn't want those two things. No. Okay, I liked men. I wanted to. Well, that's another time. I liked men, but I didn't want to be married. But however, me and my husband, we dated for a long time. We had a baby out of wedlock. Did I just tell you I didn't want to be married? But when we had a daughter, and then I started changing in as I was getting older, my life changed about what I wanted. So then but we still were not at that time. We didn't follow the proper way of date. We're both Caribbean people, so kind of Caribbean people kind of have where we are chat for. You like me, I like you. You want to ride me, want to ride. You know that.
Well, I mean,
we don't have a getting to know you session until after.
I'm gonna tell you something. I was engaged before I met my husband. Actually, a year before I met my husband, and he was Haitian, and I ain't dating nobody from that way ever again. But I ended up getting married. So all I got to say. And the side note, let me tell y'all, they crazy. I was with this man a whole 2.5 years. He was married the whole time. Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep. And let me tell y'all, that he was at my house. My family doesn't even know, because he's been to family trips. He was with me all the time. I mean, I honestly did not know. That's for another day. I feel you on that. But girl, that's a side note. But back to girl,
you have your own show.
Girl, that was like a trigger when you was talking about. I'm like, oh. And you know what a blessing is about that when that happened? A year later, I saw him at an event, and he apologized. And a week later, I met my husband.
That's beautiful.
So I think God was telling you got to. I mean, I was crying in the middle of the club. It was so funny. My friends saw him like, yes, he is here, girl, in the club. You want me to say something? I'm like, nah, don't say nothing. They like, we checking him. I'm like, it ain't worth it. And then he pulled me to the side and said, that's all he said was, I'm sorry. And I broke down crying in the middle of the club. And a week later, I met my husband. So I think God in that moment was saying, you need to release something before I can give you this blessing. And once I released it and let it go, boom, here comes my boo time.
I think, Sharica, that's important. Sometimes just making the change is super hard. You don't really know what to do, but especially if you feel that that's the spirit or whatever in the inside, make that change. You know what I'm saying? Make the change.
Yeah, and you know what is so beautiful about that. And my mom and her, what one may consider her mistakes, it may be life for my mom, but I may look at it as, girl, I can't believe, is that what came out of that, the flowers that grew out of that whole relationship. And that's how I look at things now to this day. Yes. But when I got married and I saw how that was and how my mom and dad was, I tried to put the foundations already down. And so I went to counseling. We go into counseling every year for the rest of our marriage. Like,
that's awesome.
Year. Why? It's because I am scared to be turning into my mom, my auntie, etc., etc. And so that fear in me that I may be like relationship wise, like my mom or my auntie, makes me try to put those things in the way. And I mean, not in a way, but in my path. But when you ask my mom about counseling, why are you going to counseling? That don't make no sense. Why are you doing that? And so
that's a
she
forbidden
didn't tell me.
thing in the
Yeah, she didn't tell me because that's not something she knew.
Talk to God.
Yeah.
Right, pray over it. All right. And so she didn't know to tell me because she didn't know what to say. And so when I say mama didn't tell me, sometimes it's not like she held that from me. She didn't know her facts either. And the person before didn't tell her. So
she didn't know.
Yeah,
she didn't know. She didn't know that she wasn't informed.
And so now I have the opportunity, and if anyone is seeing that, acknowledging that, have the opportunity to break that cycle, you know, and make that change. And then as you move forward, I think I have to really talk about sexual suppression. You know, I was told you don't have sex till you're married, and if you get pregnant, you're gonna die. That's it. You know how they had the little baby dolls and don't cry, whatever, baby dolls that they used to give my church, used to give them out. And it was like, yeah, I know, it's so weird. My baby she didn't make it several times. But I'm not saying I treat my son with much respect and care. So DCH, don't be trying to look out for me. Okay. But I'm just gonna put that out there. But you know, being like open and sexual with your partner, that was foreign to me. The time that my mama had to talk with me was the day before my wedding. And the only reason why we had that talk is because me and my sister locked her in the door, locked her in the room and said, so how was I born? And she said, well, me and your daddy went out, we had a good time. And I just probed her because I knew it made her uncomfortable. But that's the first time my mom had talked to me about sex.
And you married? You was about to get married when that happened?
It was the day before I got married. And it was funny for me and my sister because it made her uncomfortable, and we like blocked her. We joke a lot. I blocked her from the door, and I was like, "Mama, tell me about the birds and the bees." I said, "How was I created?" And she was like, "Well, why y'all playing so much?" I'm like, "No, tell me." And my sister's like, "We don't know about sex," and so she literally didn't say really much. But me and your daddy went out. We had a good time. What time did you have? What time did you come in? Stuff like that. And so because I didn't see that physical touch and that celebration of sexual experience, I felt like I had regressed when I first started. Like I didn't know what to do and how to really feel like I can please my mate in a way that a married woman should, because that was something you don't talk about. And so I had to start discovering for myself, okay, it may be all right. I can do this. You know what I'm saying? But when I got to that phase of being married, I should have already been there. But I wasn't. So, I mean, when did your parents talk to you guys about sex?
I would say my mom was talking about
my mother more talked about.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Janet.
In my household, we didn't. My mother more talked about leading up to the sex. So my mother more mentioned little things about how dating is supposed to happen, or how he's supposed to come to the front door and ask for you. But she never expounded on those things. I think those were things she wanted for herself or even for her daughters, because her married life wasn't that great. So I think that's what she thought that she should be telling us, but she never went into the actual activity. Now, it's funny enough that me and my sister, we ended up being pregnant around the same time. And one time I had a guy spend the night. It's a long story. And she asked when he came downstairs, did y'all have sex? She didn't say it like that. She said, uno have sex upstairs? And we both her like we was retarded, but she never, Lord rest her soul, that she never set me down and was like, well, the man has a penis and I learned everything on my own, but that's another story for another time. Proceed.
Janet be dancing. I love it. What about you, Latoya?
I would say like my mom mostly talked about how can I put this? So my mother had sexual. Huh?
We on the web. You can say it.
My mom had sexual trauma in her life, so a big part of her message to me was for me not to also have that trauma. So I was always wary of, company that she let us hang around and, just protecting down there. No one's to touch you down there. And she probed me all the time. Has anyone tried to do this? Anyone tried to do like it was always like always. But then that comes from her anxiety because she was traumatized in that way. So that's about the extent we talked about sexually. But I mean, school talked about sex ed back then. Kids talked about sex back then. Oh, I need to stop clapping on the table so that my don't keep jumping. But yeah, and I'm a informative researcher type person. I'll go find out information when I want to know.
So can you hear me? For me, I don't recall like really having extensive conversations. I remember like Jen, I heard I learned stuff from kids at school. Mm-hmm. So what's sticking out? What I remember my mom just saying is like, protect yourself, use condoms. And I wasn't even doing it. Like I was just trying to play basketball. Like that's all I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Like I was mad I wasn't tall enough to be a center. I just, but she just kept telling about condoms. So I feel like that's the most we really talked about it. But I tell you what, our kids, it's a different situation. They're exposed to so much more. And I have 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds ask me questions, and I'm here for. We have discussions about it all day. Yeah.
You're muted, honey. You're muted.
You muted. Unmute.
It's okay. Yeah, you have to unmute yourself. I can't do it. But maybe if you come back out and come back in, I'm not sure. But you do this. Hey, Courtney. She'll come back. This is Courtney.
Hi, Courtney.
Yay, Courtney. I know Courtney's the homie.
Oh my goodness. She said my mom told me.
Oh my God.
Being rubbed against my private. Oh Lord.
My mother used to say, if God did one man for fine, it would have put by your forehead.
Whoa, Courtney.
There you go.
There you go. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, cool.
Wait, Sharica, did you see that though? You saw what Courtney's mama told her?
Let me see.
Says my mom told me sex felt like a rock being rubbed against my pride.
Well, damn. I wouldn't want to do nothing either. Shoot. A rock. I don't know. It's hard to sometimes put a tampon in, let alone a rock. But with my son, though, I want to be transparent. I'm going to be like, look, this is what herpes look like.
Yeah.
This is, XYZ. This is the finger condom. I mentor with Delta Gyms, and we had this lady come in, and there's so many things that I have never heard of that exist to protect yourself. I just never ever heard of it. So I want him to be knowledgeable. So I guess my question to you and each of you here, what is the legacy or the things that you want to ensure that your child now should know moving forward? Because it's so many things we want to, inform our kids about. But what is that one thing that you want your child to know? And they can't say for a shadow of a doubt that you didn't tell them that. And I'll go first.
That's good.
I would want my son to know is that you are a king. You don't have to alter yourself for nobody. I don't give a damn who they are. You don't got to alter yourself. And then two, understand, if you don't have an answer, ask. Don't be ashamed to ask, because the only one will be stupid in that room will be you, because you didn't ask the question. And so that's what I want to make sure my son knows. And if he has those foundations of saying, if you don't know, ask. I'm a king and you cannot doubt me or deflate my joy. You good. You good to me. You good, because nobody can take that away from you.
That's right. What about you, Janet?
I'm trying to think. I think one of the things that me and my daughter, I'm very open. So we've had now I wasn't open with her about sexual intercourse. Now that I wasn't, because at that time when I was going through what I was going through, how would I say? I wasn't even no good for myself. So having conversation, I ensured that she went to school and got an education, but things beyond that, because I was so busy trying to take care of our household, I didn't give her those areas that she needed. And I've apologized to her, because I realized after some things happened in the later of the teen years that I missed out on some important moments trying to be a provider. So
How old is your daughter?
Huh?
How old is your daughter?
She's now 25 and she has a baby. I'm just recently a grandma. So
girl,
with
black don't crack. Black don't crack.
Girl, I'm almost
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I should my driver. So anyway, but one of the things is I've always been open with her about relationships, because like I said, I came from an argumentative, and when I left her father when she was of age, I just explained that no man is going to take my joy. I don't care what he got down there or in his pocket. I got my own, and I cannot have my joy be stolen. That is, I need peace. I'll be lonely with peace, but I can still have a peace. So that was just how I felt about it. So those are the things that I've been sharing with her. And now that she has a baby, I've been sharing with her more about being honest with self. Once again, because of where we came from, I think we as women are not honest with self about we can have a career and still take care of our homes. I think for far too long, we've been taught to choose one or the other, but we can have both. We just have to know where our health coming from. And it's not from that man, it's from the man.
Right. That's a collective play.
Yes. Courtney says, I want my children to know that their purpose for living is greater than any doubt or naysayer. They are legacy barriers and kingdom carriers. Yes, ma'am. All day. Yes. And she calls her son King. Yes, has always done that. Love it. Absolutely. What about you, Toya Power? What's up?
I always told my son, to respect conquers all. Love is a choice, but respect is mandatory.
Yes.
That is one of the things that I've always said, because respect will take you where other things won't. I might not love you, but I'm gonna respect you. And I know they say, you should love everybody. I don't, but
Toya Power.
Listen. Love is a strong word.
I love you, Toya. I love you.
Love is a strong word, and I don't throw it around just to be saying it. So if I say it, I mean it. And if I'm not connected to you in some way, then no, I don't love you. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it to say I do. Right.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
but I will respect you regardless
Right.
of anything. You're going to have my respect. Right. I that's just me. But anyway, so I always tell them, respect is due to everyone. And think for yourself, because if
Right.
somebody else thinks for you, you're putting everything in someone else's hands, and that's not how we roll. So
Toya, before you go, should I just say Latoya baby hair is just on fire?
Ain't it though?
Lay them edges down, girl. Lay.
When I grow up, I want something just like that. Just like
Yeah,
that.
I didn't notice it before, and I was looking like, oh, and she got the little. You can see that she.
And I was thinking, I remember that show Toy when I tried to do that. I said, y'all see my baby? And it was a hot mess. You could have just told me. I tried. Let me
the
everybody-
brown one, okay?
everybody see that on fleek. On fleek.
Girl, you using that good old eco gel, you know what I'm saying?
With the toothbrush.
oh wait, they don't know about the look.
Yeah, that was about.
Yes, y'all so silly.
I
Thank
get it.
you.
Now you
Oh, shoot. All right, so for me, I want my children to understand that joy is theirs, happiness is theirs, love is theirs. That's biblical. God, that's for us. No matter what your situation is, whatever's going on, don't let I fight for those things. Whether I just got an accident, all these things. I lost my job a couple months ago, but so what? That's not gonna take my joy away. That's mine. You can't have it. So those things, and also to understand that there is a calling on your life. We have many callings, and you're here for a purpose. And like when you know those things, like there's something for you to do. It helps you to it helps sometimes for some people who are not, with depression and all that kind of stuff, where you can understand and hold on to there's something for you to do. You're here for a purpose. So those are the things I try to drill in for my children.
And I know we about to wrap up, but I can say before I leave that there's gonna be things that this mama ain't gonna tell the son because I don't know.
Right.
And so, as much as I want to say my mama didn't tell me, he's going to be saying the same thing.
Same thing.
I know that his book has a little bit more pages. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's more to read from the book that I give him.
That's right.
So for anybody out there watching, I have to tell myself words of affirmation that I am a good mother. I am a good wife. I'm a good person, because I have to remind myself that, even though I have all these things I think are blessings to me, sometimes you may think you're not worthy of it. And so I have to remind myself, in the midst of me reminding myself, there might be things I'm gonna leave out for my son, but I know all my heart of hearts that I gave him my best. And I always have to say that, because sometimes people think like, oh, you didn't learn anything from your family. I learned so much from my family. The woman that I am comes from my lineage, but I also know that I'm flawed as well, and when you acknowledge that, you're gonna always give the next person the best. So
I love that you said that. And I know we've had up there, the failures of our mothers, whatever. Those failures, I've learned so much from those so-called failures. I'm so grateful for what they went through, because I learned a lot from that. And so, I know everybody has to go, but I'm grateful that what you said is that our children get to have a few more pages in their book, because you're going to make mistakes too. I make them all the time. So that is so fantastic. Well, look here. We appreciate you.
She might have a book of Janet,
a book or two,
and then she might have Janet the Nasty. But never mind.
Hey, every time I see you and they think of your name, and people are like, oh, you was on the show. I'm like, Janet Nasty. Yes.
Yo. Any last words?
My maiden name is Janet Jack. That's my maiden name.
Oh yeah, you gonna have to go with it. For real, you have to go with it. Anyway, I'm sorry.
That's awesome. Does anybody have any last words? Janet? Toya?
No, I
go ahead, Janet.
I think so.
Okay. Toya?
I would like
love
to
yourself. Love you.
Okay. Love yourself. That's right.
Awesome. I'd like to say that this episode is sponsored by Virtual Assistant Sister Learning. Why would I get tongue tied on that? Virtual Sister Learning. It is a group on Facebook where you can learn how to become a virtual assistant. We do co-working. We have programs. We have mindset coaching. We have all the tools that you need to get started on your virtual assistant journey. So feel free to join us in that community.
Yes, check us out. We would love to have you. Awesome. Sharica, last words. We really appreciate this today, sis.
Well, I'm just thankful again to be able to be in the space. I'm a firm believer in. I will say it and I say it over again. Is that when you are allowed into the space, respect it, welcome it, and hopefully you'll walk away better from it, right? And so I just thank you guys. And so I'm gonna have to put my shameless plug in here. I'm on every Monday live on 7:00 p.m. on Facebook at Mama Didn't Tell Me This. You can also go to our Instagram and go ahead and like our page. But if you have a topic or you want to be on the show out there and you want to be a sponsor, I'm throwing it out there. I'm sorry, but go ahead and email us. But please watch our show. We try to have hot topics about everything, and we try to be real. Normally I'm drinking, but I will respect y'all show. But
Yeah,
this is
girl
my
Drinking.
Oh,
What you
love
been
it.
drinking?
Well, I normally have peach Hennessy and juice.
Why are you gonna say that? Are you a Scorpio?
I am an Aquarius.
Oh, okay.
What that mean? Hold on, wait a minute. I know what that mean.
No, I know a lot of Scorpios drink Hennessy that I know of, so that's why.
I'm not a Hennessy.
No, back up. A lot of the Scorpio women that I know drink Hennessy.
Right.
That's why.
I'm not a Hennessy drinker though. I normally drink wine, but the peach Hennessy with juice is good. And I normally have a glass of wine, but I do
No,
peach lemonade.
Hennessy needs to be drink by itself. You don't need to mix
Lord
it.
have mercy.
Hennessy is like it goes down smooth.
This is not that show, Janet. This is not that show.
I love a good red wine. I only had to, but last night I had a Black Republican on. She was a female, and I had to drink a lot.
I understand. I understood. Well, cool. So y'all see, like sis said, if you want to connect with her, if you want to be on her show, you can go to the Instagram there, the SOC Butterfly, and connect with her. Also, you can email her as well, and her email is down here somewhere. Here's her information.
Mama didn't tell me at Gmail.
Yeah, at Gmail. So make sure that you connect with. She has an awesome show, guys. It's on Mondays. It's funny. Like you said, she is super duper real. So absolutely connect with her. And her information is here. Here's the email one more time, I think. Yeah, okay. Mama didn't tell me this. Okay, cool. So, all right, Toy, take us out, sis.
All right. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join us right back here every Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Love y'all.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye. 4 p.m.
And I'm trying to click on the outro. And it's not working. There we go.